Saints are alone in first. Stay there if they win tonight. If they lose, the division leader is 3 games under 500. That's never happened before in the NFL. Baltimore won the toss and deferred, so Drew Brees of the Saints offense will get the ball first. Of course, this is the place where Baltimore won its Super Bowl, second Super Bowl, but they did come back here this year in the preseason. It's that last game in the preseason, so a bunch of the starters didn't play, but they got all the nostalgia and looking around and remembering the moment out of the way. The focus can be on the game here tonight. Travaris Cadet back deep to receive. Returns are minimal against Baltimore. Usually they have a terrific kicker. Justin Tucker sets a send it away. And off we go from the dome. Cadet about 7 deep will take a knee, and Drew Brees will bring it out the 20-yard line. I know the numbers aren't as good as we have gotten used to, but he is, John, leading the league in completion percentage and averaging over 300 yards a game.
But the standards are so high with Drew Brees, Mike. He's uncharacteristically turned it over 12 times. Not as many big plays in the passing game. They really miss Darren Sproles coming out of the backfield. Brees is going to have to play great to beat this Raven defense tonight.
It'll start from the 20, and Brees over the middle, and Jimmy Graham right away. Gain of 11 and a first down at the 31-yard line.
Jimmy Graham playing his conventional tight end position. Pushes straight up the field, bursts, turns, ball's thrown on time. And Drew Brees is off to a very good start. Nice pass protection. Here come the Saints.
31 will bring it around and get it in the hands of Joseph Morgan. Using his speed down the sideline. Morgan is in bounds. And Morgan inside the 10. Brought down to 5 by a horse collar. First and goal, New Orleans.
Well, we said in the pregame they have not made the big plays, Mike. They just made one with Joe Morgan. 2 years ago, he exploded onto the scene. It's a reverse. Back to the left side. He picks up a lead block, and he turns on the gas.
Horse collar tackle, number 21 defense. Half the distance to the goal, first down.
Good call by the official. Lardarius Webb came a long way to make that tackle, and he sets up the Saints with a first and goal.
67 on the run for Morgan. Second time he's been handed the ball and does some magic with it there. It's first and goal for the Saints. And it's Mark Ingram looking to the right and held on to by Darrell Smith and brought down. Forward progress will be loss of about a half yard.
Hard to run the ball against the Baltimore Ravens, particularly when they get into their goal line defense. Over 19 years, the Ravens have been in business, Mike, and nobody has ever averaged over 4 yards a carry against this outfit. Canty, Suggs, Haloti Ngata, they're a handful.
Holston in motion. The hand is Ingram, left side. He lost the football at the goal line. The Ravens were at the bottom of the pile. C.J. Mosley, the rookie linebacker, down there fighting for it. And they have it. He was short of the plane. Darian Stewart, the free safety, knocked it away. And Ingram, who's protected the ball so well with his volume of handles this year, fumbles at a key spot, and the Ravens take over. ESPN's Monday Night Football is brought to you by Frostbrewed Coors Light, the game's most refreshing beer. Nissan, innovation that excites. 2015 Pro Bowl balloting. Cast your votes now at NFL.com/Pro Bowl ballot. And Chase Freedom. Get your cash back. This was yesterday, the 8th annual Oak Street Po' Boy Festival here in New Orleans. One of the local delicacies. We're looking here to see if a shin was down before the ball came out. It would be automatically reviewed because it's a turnover. Bill Levy went to look at it. We'll see if the Saints still have the ball. Here's Bill Levy.
After reviewing the play, the runner was down by contact with the ball just inside the 1 yard line. It'll be 3rd down.
Let's go back and show you the replays. We were watching for the ball when it came out. Look for the shin to be down right there. So the shin is down while he still is in possession of the ball. It didn't start moving. Nobody knocked it out. Stewart's hit came a hair late, so the Mosley recovery is negated.
Mike, last week against Cincinnati, the Saints were stuffed in a goal line situation to start the game. They must find a way to knock this ball across the goal line.
So it is 3rd and goal. And right away, Canty knocks over the tackle, thinking he moved and trying to get the penalty on Armstead.
False start. Offense. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
What a critical mistake. A lot of young players breaking in this Saints offense, and 3rd and goal inside the 1. Watch left tackle number 72, Armstead.
It was just that rock in the stance there before the motion began.
A little flinching against the veteran Chris Canty, and 3rd and goal from the 6.
Fans just saw it on the screen. They didn't like it, but you could see the flinch before the motion. Tavares Cadet is the back next to Brees. It's a 3-man rush. Brees going to step up, going to take off. Can't get there. Stopped by Courtney Upshaw. Shy of the goal line. It's 4th down at the 1. Field goal or go for it.
It's a 3-man rush. You see Upshaw, number 91, dropping in coverage one-on-one in the open field against Drew Brees. Upshaw wins. I think Sean Payton wants to talk about this with his quarterback.
So New Orleans will take an early timeout here, 2.5 in, to discuss what they want to do. They've been inside the 5 for a few snaps. That one pushed them outside to the 6-yard line. Good chess match here tonight, John, with Sean Payton calling plays, and on the other side, the defensive coordinator for Baltimore, Dean Pease, veteran, respected defensive coordinator.
Highly underrated coach. He has an outstanding front 7, and they are very deep. He has issues in the secondary, and he knows it. But in these short yardage and goal line situations against Baltimore, you almost have to throw the football. And look for Sean Payton, who's going for it right now, to feature his go-to tight end, Jimmy Graham, on some kind of a jump ball in this situation.
And, John, you referred to it last week against Cincinnati, 4th and 1, the opposite end of the field. They went for it. They went to the fullback, Lorig, out of the backfield in the flat. They tried to go on a quick count and couldn't catch Cincinnati then. Ingram the back, 4th and goal. He'll carry it. Ingram, not even close. The Ravens defense puts up the wall. And the Saints are denied from the 1.
They ran a power play right into the teeth of the Baltimore Ravens' strength, and Haloti Ngata stuffs it.
Ravens defense for the first statement of the night. Back-to-back games, New Orleans is stopped on 4th down from the 1-yard line in the opening quarter. So Joe Flacco and the Ravens take over. They'll start at the 3, and a good run for Justin Forsett into the clear. Forsett across the 30. And the Ravens start with a 38-yard run by the journeyman Forsett.
What a way to come off your goal line. I formation. They slam it off the right side, and the backside block it. Pays off. Watch Forsett. Press it and cut it back. And Kenny Vaccaro in the open field must make that tackle.
Forsett gets a breather. Bernard Pierce checks in. And from the 31, following his fullback use check, Pierce gets 2 yards. Let's go back to the 4th down and what New Orleans did at the 1.
Jimmy Graham's not in the game. Sean Payton sends a message to his offensive line. He says, hey, it's not good enough. He's going to run the football, but Haloti Ngata knocks Jonathan Goodwin back, and you can't pull the backside guard with that kind of penetration. Payton is not happy last week with that goal line stand. He gave his offensive line a chance to redeem himself. Didn't happen.
Joe Flacco to throw for the first time tonight, and slipping And falling is Steve Smith Sr. as he and Flacco had a chance at an opening against that zone. For Joe Flacco, the offense is new. There's new people around, but the constant is Flacco, the former first-round pick out of Delaware. Since he came out of school, 107 consecutive starts. Hasn't missed one. They bring the pressure as the fans bring the noise. Here comes the Saints blitz. Picked up. And Steve Smith, who has crushed the Saints over the years, gets his 100th reception all time against New Orleans. First down.
Well, they just blow the coverage. Pierre Warren in this all-out blitz has to get over here to cover Steve Smith. Rob Ryan brings the house, and the rookie free safety is out of position, and Steve Smith just caught his 100th pass against the New Orleans Saints.
For Smith's first 13 years in the same division with the Carolina Panthers. First down of Flacco. Completes it out to his fullback, the Harvard grad. Kyle Juszczyk takes it to the 35-yard line. Well, John, we hit the Steve Smith point. Let's go to the numbers he has had over the years against the Saints. A couple of dozen games, 100 catches, and now over 1,500 yards. He's averaged 15 yards a catch against the same opponent with 10 touchdowns. All those stats together, only Raymond Berry, Isaac Bruce, and Jerry Rice, twice against his division opponents, have beaten up one opponent the way Smith has done it to the Saints over the years. Forsett now carries. Wanted the face mask, and the flag comes in. And this penalty could take them down inside the 20.
Personal foul, face mask, number 76, defense. 15 yards, automatic first down.
So Akeem Hicks is called.
Clearly a face mask, Mike, and the New Orleans Saints' third down defense was a train wreck last week. They gave up 3 3rd and 8s in the opening possession. They gave up a 3rd and 11, a 3rd and 18. Critical, they find a way to get off the field. They don't want to let the Ravens grab momentum early.
Spread them out with 4 wide and run Forsett for 3 yards to the 13. Things happening fast and furious here at the start. So let's introduce the Ravens to you. Up front, pretty solid, especially Kelechi Osemele, the left guard. He is playing very good football. We already heard from Juszczyk, Forsett, the Smiths, Torrey, the speedster, and Steve Smith, the veteran. Owen Daniels started his career for 8 years with the Texans. A lot of his offense there with Gary Kubiak as his head coach. Kubiak is now the offensive coordinator in Baltimore and doing a very good job. This offense has improved a lot. Timeout Saints. Confusion here from New Orleans. They've burned 2 timeouts in the first 6 minutes.
Well, the Saints are a mess, Mike, in their secondary, just like the Ravens are. This is a defense under Rob Ryan that utilized 3 safeties at a time last year. The problem is Roman Harper's gone. They lost Malcolm Jenkins as well to the Philadelphia Eagles. The man they brought in, Jarius Byrd, is hurt. When you look out there now, Mike, there's a couple safeties that really just got here. Marcus Ball, Jamarcus Sanford. The Saints are in trouble against these spread formations, and Baltimore knows it.
There's your point, John. Harper and Jenkins, the veterans, leave in the offseason. They use a lot of money to sign Byrd from Buffalo. He injures his knee. His replacement was Raphael Bush. He got hurt, injuring his leg here last week against Cincinnati. And Vinny Sunseri, who was a backup and a special teamer, was also lost with a fractured arm. So major attrition at that position. And the 13 Forsett tries to cut it back. Hicks hit him, and then the rest of the posse gets there to bring him down. Marcus Ball, one of those safeties with the tackle. John told you the safety issue. Strength of the Saints is the front 7 with Hicks and Buckley and Jordan, followed by the linebacking core. We really like Curtis Lofton on the inside. Junior Gillette, a big sack season last year. Kenny Vaccaro is the one experienced safety. Keenan Lewis on one corner. Patrick Robinson, benched earlier in the season, returns to a starting role.
Got to be real careful with Brian Dixon, a rookie, at the top of the screen against Steve Smith, Mike.
Play clock runs down, and Flacco has to burn a timeout. Haven't played half a quarter. Half the timeouts for the half are gone. 3 of the 6 have been used. What gives us a minute, John, to talk about Flacco and this offensive change. What has it been about the Kubiak system that fits Flacco?
Well, it's a West Coast system. And one of the things I like is it's putting Joe Flacco under the center. And you're seeing more and more timing patterns. Keep an eye on his footwork tonight. 5 steps, 1 hitch. 5 steps, balls out with no hitch. He's accurate. He's getting better and better. He can throw the quick game. And obviously with this zone stretch running game, there are some wicked bootlegs and play actions that have clearly hurt New Orleans already.
That's the running game that Kubiak was so successful with in Denver as the offensive coordinator for Mike Shanahan, and then his 8 years in Houston as a head coach.
Up top, Smith versus Dixon.
3rd and 9. The Saints bring pressure. It's going to Steve Smith. Dixon bumps into him. Smith caught it. Inbounds for the touchdown.
What a play by Steve Smith. And Joe Flacco knew it. There's no way Dixon can handle the veteran Steve Smith in one-on-one coverage. It's an outside release fly pattern. And the rookie from Northwest Missouri has no chance against the 14 veteran Steve Smith.
Of course, the scoring play so automatically reviewed. Backside comes down as he is just completing the act of the catch there. Stays secured all the way to the ground and through the end of the play.
How about Steve Smith last night, Mike? He said, I'm not fond of the Saints. It's a professional dislike. No, I just hate the Saints. And once again, he proves his dislike for the New Orleans Saints. What a catch by the veteran.
See if this requires further inspection, or it's good. It is confirmed as a touchdown. So Steve Smith strikes again against New Orleans. Saints had 4th and goal at the Ravens 1. They got stopped. Baltimore knocked them for a loss of 2. And the extra point by Justin Tucker caps a 9-play, 97-yard opening drive, capped off by an old nemesis, Steve Smith Sr. 7-0 Baltimore. Well, John, you talked about the passion with which Steve Smith approaches so many games, especially the ones against these teams that he played for many years with the Panthers. And again, these numbers against the Saints. 101 receptions, averaging 15 per. That is 11th touchdown against New Orleans. He walked in the room, you saw him, and it brought back some nasty flashbacks for you.
It really did. I didn't want to see him. He makes me nervous. What a credit it is to Steve Smith. It's hard to change teams that far into your career, meet new teammates, learn a new offense, and all that comes with it.
He has thrived early, especially. Struggled over the last 4 games, but bouncing back. Touchback, and Brees and the Saints will take over at the 20. They've been so good on Monday nights. They'll dig out of an early hole here tonight. Well, the Saints take over for the 2nd time at the 20. They got down to the 1. What happened? Opening drive, 1st and goal, the opponent's 1 and not scoring. It's the first time that's happened in the league since the Steelers 3 years ago. So it's a long time since what you just saw happen has happened. And Ingram on the run, no gain right away. To that last drive.
Well, he tried to run the ball off the right side. Darryl Smith said nothing doing. Then they stuff an off-tackle play to the left. After an Armstead penalty, Brees scrambles, and Upshaw makes a beautiful one-on-one tackle, and then Haloti Ngata and his friends stuff a power play, and they're off the field. That's demoralizing to an offense.
2nd and 10, Brees throwing sideline. It is complete, out of bounds after the gain of a half dozen to Kenny Stills, the 2nd-year receiver, his 32nd catch. Remember, this a New Orleans team operating without Brandon Cooks, their 1st-round pick this year, who coming into this week led the NFL in receptions for a rookie, but he was injured last week, broke his thumb, and he's out for the rest of the season.
4.
Had been without Pierre Thomas the last 4 games. Shoulder and rib injury. He's back. He's in the lineup. As Brees throws short of the first down. It is still, but it's a yard shy. And it's going to be ruled incomplete, so not even close to the first down mark. It'll be 4th and 4.
This number 41, Anthony Levine, has come out of nowhere as the starting right corner for the Baltimore Ravens. John Harbaugh cut 2 of his starting corners after the Pittsburgh Steelers. Ben Roethlisberger threw 6 touchdown passes against them, and Levine has stepped in and played well.
See, Jacoby Jones, outstanding kick returner. If that pass would have been a first down, maybe it was worth a challenge, but since it wasn't, no reason for Peyton to challenge it. Good kick by Thomas Morstead, and Jones will let go, and the Saints will down back inside the 15-yard line. 8 minutes in, already up 7. Flacco coming back. Well, next Monday night, we will be in New Jersey to watch the Miami Dolphins, who played very well for 3 quarters against Denver, and then the Broncos overtaking them. Taking on the Jets, who are in action right now against Buffalo, and the Bills have just blocked a punt for a touchdown. Scored 10 points within 2 minutes, and they lead the Jets 24-3 in the 3rd quarter in Detroit. Justin Forsett with the carry, stopped, loss of a yard. Curtis Lofton made the tackle for the Saints.
Joe Flacco does a lot in this running game with audibles. They call a running play to the left, and if he doesn't like the look, you'll hear him kill the play, and he'll go to the right. He'll call one running play and kill it with another, and Flacco is very involved in this Raven run system. Watch him dissect the Saint defense.
2nd and 11. That bullet for Torrey Smith. It's incomplete. It'll be 3rd down.
These are the situations where the Saints must muster a pass rush. Cameron Jordan had 12.5 sacks last year. Junior Gillette had 12 sacks. They've been awfully quiet this year, and they could use some help from 75, Tyron Walker. There needs to be another New Orleans Saint rush the passer, Mike.
They love to bring at least 6 guys and bring the pressure on a quarterback in 3rd and long. They rush 4 and bail. Look out, Flacco hit as he throws, and David Hawthorne had a pick 6 in his hands, and he dropped it.
Junior Gillette just beat Monroe, the left tackle of the Ravens, and Hawthorne should catch that score. Right off your left side, Gillette beats Monroe. Hawthorne's got to make this catch and pick up the Saint defense.
Jalen Saunders is back to receive the punt of Sam Cook. Saunders just signed by the Saints this week. It's a bouncing kick, and Saunders going to let it go. It's going to be a big punt for Cook all the way down to the 15-yard line.
What a weapon. Cook and Tucker are the 2 specialists of the Ravens.
73-yard punt, one shy of his all-time record. Saints could have had a touchdown on a pick 6. Rob Ryan's team apparently unhappy is the DC. A very interesting style of punt by Cook. John, watch this.
He dropped it with a nose down, and it allowed him to get that knuckling effect. He saw the young returner Saunders back there, and he said, deal with this.
So the Saints take over 3rd drive from their own 15-yard line. Back to Stills on the run. The gain is 7. Update on the Bills and Jets. Here's Chris Berman in the studio.
All right, Mike, well, you talked about it. Here it is, the Jets punting, Quigley punting, and bang! Anthony Dixon blocks it. Manny Lawson falls on it. Buffalo crowd excited. They're up 24-3 in Detroit. Mike, did you give everybody free tickets there?
Well, the league did, Chris. 56,000 fans at Ford Field. Saw the Bills' first block punt for a touchdown in a decade, helping them extend that margin to 21. Ingram with the run for a couple of yards. This Saints offense trying to get a first down. They were 3 and out on that last drive. That offensive line, hands full against the Ravens front seven. This is an offensive line that's been together 9 of the last 11 games this year. Zach Streep, concussion last week, back this week. We mentioned they're missing a piece on offense without the rookie Cooks, so Colston and Stills, the receivers on each end, have to pick up the slack, along with Jimmy Graham. Top tight end pass catcher in motion. 3rd and 1. Brees through the hands of Graham, and a flag comes down in the secondary as that pass is incomplete.
Graham and Will Hill involved in a collision. This will be interesting.
Illegal use of the hands to the face. Number 33 defense. 5-yard penalty, previous spot, automatic first down.
That is Hill with the flag. That'll keep the drive alive for New Orleans.
Graham comes in short motion. He breaks back to the outside. I didn't see any of that. 3rd down and short. The Saints throw it out of respect to this Raven run defense, but that's not a very good call if you ask me, Mike.
For 29, Ingram is the back. Brees stepping up, taking a shot downfield. It's Morgan again! And Morgan inside the 10. The second time that Joe Morgan has given the Saints first and goal in the first quarter.
And the Ravens secondary has been crushed with vertical shot plays all year. Play action pass. Joe Morgan on a little out and up. Runs right past Ladarius Webb with no help from the safety whatsoever. And Drew Brees has to like Joe Morgan. He had a long run on a reverse, and he's just set up the Saints again inside the 10.
2 60-plus yard plays in this opening quarter for Morgan. And the Saints tie the game. Ingram left. Ball out. And recovered by New Orleans, apparently. That's the initial signal from the line judge on the far side. Brandon Williams in there.
Excuse me, Mike. Ingram has had 3 straight 100-yard games. He's carried the ball 23 times or more in 4 straight games. He might need a lot of carries to get 100 tonight. So far, that ball has been on the ground twice, and Sean Payton can't like that.
Pierre Thomas, the running back. 2nd and goal, 5 in the pattern. It's Graham in for the touchdown.
Full coverage. Courtney Upshaw, Darrell Smith, Anthony Levine looking at each other. Not quite sure how they turned Jimmy Graham, the obvious go-to receiver in the red zone, loose. Important answer by this Saint offense, and you have to credit Sean Payton with 2 gutsy calls that have involved Joe Morgan, a man that not many people know.
The player was suspended for a couple of games. They never gave the reason why. He's been out of the lineup for a while. Comes back and makes a big impact. Happy birthday, Jimmy Graham, on his 28th birthday. His 8th touchdown of the year has tied the game. Saints fans, little reason to rejoice. A birthday touchdown for Jimmy Graham has tied this game at 7. Graham, who has fought through that injured shoulder, really hasn't been right. He said he needs another 4 or 6 weeks to get right. Meantime, Clarence Brooks, the defensive line coach, trying to get the Ravens sorted out. But Jacoby Jones took one back in the Super Bowl, 108 yards. He tried for 109 there, but Josh Hill says 30 yards on the return, just enough for the New Orleans native Jones. He and Keenan Lewis, both New Orleanians, know each other well and sharing more than a few words on that exchange.
Really like the improvement of this Raven offensive line, Mike. They remodeled it. They're more physical. Sacks are down, and they're running the football better.
Bernard Pierce, the running back. And Pierce runs right, gets second level, and he gains nearly 25 yards. Another big run to start a drive for Baltimore.
Kyle Juszczyk, second-year fullback out of Harvard on a lead isolation block. And Bernard Pierce follows his fullback to daylight. Second time the Saints have blown a run fit, and the Ravens have gashed him. Juszczyk taking over for the veteran. Vontae Leach has done a nice job. I don't know how you spell Juszczyk, but I'd have a hard time with it.
He went to Harvard, not a problem. For Kyle, should say undefeated Ivy League champion Harvard Crimson. They locked that down, beating Yale on Saturday. 3 for Pierce as he runs to the left.
You see what Gary Kubiak has going. He's got a 2-tailback system, multiple substitutions. Here comes Owen Daniels. Here comes 14 Marlon Brown. And the Saints have to counter it themselves with a nickel substitution.
The more DBs you get on the field tonight, the better for your offense, because these two teams are depleted, or let's be honest, they're poor in the secondary. Forsett. He'll twist and turn and gain 2 yards as Curtis Lofton brings him down, and we have an injured Saint. Roderick Bunkley is down. This post-play pushing and shoving, but the bigger concern is the Saints medical staff out to look at the 9th-year man out of Florida State, Roderick Bunkley. Injury timeout. Back here in New Orleans, all tied at 7 apiece. And the Saints medical staff out to look at Bunkley. He made his 101st NFL start here tonight. We're looking at his right leg. Started with the Eagles, signed with Denver. Played for the Broncos last year.
Left guard Kelechi Osemele, a very physical left guard for the Ravens, gets latched on with Bunkley at the end of the play, and Bunkley went down awkwardly, and this is concerning when you have a player down this long, Mike.
Just the contact, and then that step seemed to cause the injury. For Bunkley's been a season-long starter here for Sean Payton's Saints, along with Akeem Hicks and Cameron Jordan, a good group up front. And needs assistance to come off.
Saints got to Flacco, the last third down situation with Junior Galette. Let's see what Rob Ryan has in store on this 3rd down and 5. Patrick Robinson, number 21, back as a New Orleans Saint after a torn ACL. Been victimized a lot in coverage this year. And Keenan Allen, their shutdown corner, has had a bad knee. I'd be surprised if Torrey Smith doesn't get targeted soon, deep at the top of the string.
Third and 5, and the pressure off the edge from Vaccaro. It's a long shot to Smith again. Steve Smith inside the 10. And he's got the Ravens first and goal one more time.
This is Fantasy Island for Steve Smith. He beat Dixon for a touchdown earlier. Now he takes it to Corey White with a simple outside release. Joe Flacco is on the money. This is a nightmare when Steve Smith gets hot.
So physical, so strong, going to get the ball at 5'9", just under 200 pounds. One of the toughest players at that position in his 14th year. At the 8-4 set, ran into his own man and limits the gain to about a yard or 2.
See the problem, Mike? Gary Kubiak has all the running plays that you want. And to stop a lot of these run plays, you have to involve the safeties. You have to blitz at times to stop the run. And when you do that as a New Orleans Saint, you isolate your coverage corners, and the Saints just don't have the people outside to match up with Torrey Smith and Steve Smith. And if the Saints cover, they're going to get the ball run right down their throat. It's a double-edged sword that Gary Kubiak brings to Baltimore.
Flacco will let the quarter expire. All tied at 7 after 1 in New Orleans.
ESPN celebrating 45 years of Monday Night Football.
Second quarter here at the Mercedes-Benz Superdome in New Orleans. Mike Tirico, John Gruden. Lisa Salters on the sideline. All tied at 7. Steve Smith, 15-yard touchdown reception for Baltimore. Jimmy Graham, 10-yard reception for New Orleans. A lot of yards in that first quarter. Second and goal, Flacco. Juszczyk, the fullback, put his head down just shy of the goal line as that ball comes free. And let's see what they'll rule on the field here. Pierre Warren made contact with Juszczyk, and they'll say it's Baltimore ball.
The runner's down by contact.
Down by contact. He was not down by contact.
That ball's out.
Yeah, he wasn't down by contact, and now the question would be, is there a clear recovery in that situation? But there was a fight and a pile that went on afterwards. You see Juszczyk, no body part down as that ball came out. You saw that from the other angle. It was pinned between the shoulder pads. And then Sean Payton, who only has one timeout left, has thrown the flag and will challenge this call. We'll come over to consult with Bill Levy.
New Orleans is challenging the ruling on the field that the runner was down by contact.
The clear recovery portion of this may factor in to what happens in replay. Well, the ruling on the field was that Juszczyk, the fullback, was down by contact. If you go back and look at the replay, the ball is coming out before he's down by contact. Now, you need to see a clear recovery in replay to give it to New Orleans, and here's the referee.
After reviewing the play, the runner did fumble the ball. It was clearly recovered by number 42 of the Saints with the game clock on there to put 14:55 on the game clock. 14:55.
Remember, there was a time where down by contact ruled on the field would automatically eliminate the play from being reviewed. We had that Navarro Bowman play in the NFC Championship game last year. You are allowed to look if you have a clear recovery, and the feeling was that there was a clear recovery there by Pierre Warren in replay to give the ball to the Saints, and that is a red zone turnover by the Ravens.
Saints got to be very careful running the football. They have been stuffed. Can't happen in this backed up situation.
And a whistle from the 1. Brees questioning what happened there.
There is no play. We'll replay the down. 14:55, please, on the game clock. Thank you.
Saints went on a quick count. Ravens weren't ready. Once again, inside the 1, Mike, the Saints must be very careful with their play selection. Keep an eye on number 13, Joseph Morgan. He just checked back into the game. So far, he's good for 129 yards on 2 plays.
So this is like the playground. This is a do-over. From the 1. And Brees deep in his own end zone. With some time and crossing it is Hill, the tight end, who will get the first down with some space. And a gain of 17 for Josh Hill.
I think Sean Payton has some guts as a play caller. Full play action pass. They're taking a shot for Joseph Morgan again. It's not going to be open. Brees has the poise to stand in a pocket, wait for Hill to uncover on the check down, and the Saints are out of trouble. Full play action pass inside your own 1 against the Raven defense. Gutty call.
Ingram to the left. And Mark Ingram will only gain a yard. Up to the 19-yard line.
Ravens just have too many run defenders. Look at number 98, Brandon Williams. He's a second-year man out of Missouri Southern. He gets to go off the field now. He got his job done. He goes out there in their base defense, and he professionally rejects running plays. And when his job's done, they bring in the pass rush specialists.
Elvis Dumerville, one of those pass rush specialists. Brees going left and complete as it is extended forward by Nick Toon, the son of the three-time Pro Bowl Jets receiver Al Toon. And Nick Toon takes it to the 26-yard line with his first grab of the year.
Just an outside breaking route. You see Danny Gore, 37. Take Toon out of bounds just short of the first down. Third down and 2.
John, the rookie Cooks I mentioned out. Robert Meacham inactive again with an ankle injury. So it's a lot of different faces in that receiving corps for Drew Brees, who had come to rely on that rookie.
They're going after Will Hill.
For the 26, Brees over the middle for the first down. The one veteran receiver he still has. The Saints' all-time leading receiver, Marcus Colston, to the 35.
Drew Brees uses this trips formation, but he puts his 3 receivers at the bottom, and he isolates Jimmy Graham at the top of the screen. Brees knows it's man-to-man, and he's trying to get Cadet on a swing route against Darrell Smith, but the veteran linebacker had nothing to do with it. The Saints miss Darren Sproles, Mike. That threat coming out of the backfield, sorely missed.
First down from the 35. Brees in trouble, and he's going to get sacked. There's a flag to go with it. C.J. Mosley, the rookie linebacker out of Alabama, got a step. He may have been the player who was
holding.
held.
Number 55 offense. Penalties declined. Second down.
As the center, Jonathan Goodwin, was trying to stop him.
C.J. Mosley has done it all. Leads the team in tackles. He's got 2 interceptions. He's been so well trained in Tuscaloosa as a signal caller for Nick Saban. All he had to do to be the starter in Baltimore was just learn a new language. A very athletic every down linebacker that can do a lot of good things.
After the loss of 6, Brees trying to set up the screen, but it was erased. Thomas was taken out of the play by the pressure, and it will be third down.
Well, these edge rushers do a great job banging the tight end, peeling on screen plays. Watch Pierre come out to his right. Dumerville, 58, sees the screen coming. He peels out of his rush, and there's just nothing there. Dumerville and Suggs do a great job disrupting screen passes, check downs, and the release of the tight end.
Mosley, who had that sack on the prior play, limping off on that one. His third down, Ravens bring pressure from the secondary, and Brees is sacked by Dumerville, who takes his total to 11.5 on the season.
It's the best way to help your secondary. Don't give the quarterback more than 2 seconds to throw it. Nobody blocks Elvis Dumerville. I have no idea what Benjamin Watson is doing, but clearly the Saints aren't on the same page there.
Seen a couple odd things already. Jimmy Graham uncovered. He's good. Elvis Dumerville with 10.5 sacks, unblocked.
Watch out for this guy in the Superdome. Seems to like it here.
Yeah, Jacoby Jones. Morstead ran into his own man. Fans wanted a flag on the Ravens, but it was in fact his own player who contacted Morstead as Jones is brought down at the 31-yard line. 43 on the kick. All tied at 7. About a third of the way through. An entertaining game so far. Brees stopped by Elvis Dumerville. What a year it's been in the SEC, and the regular season culminates with the Iron Bowl. Auburn, Alabama coming up Saturday night on ESPN, and you'll be looking live. Brent Musburger will be on the call of that, so we look forward to that great matchup with a lot at stake. Alabama #1 in the college football playoff ranking. Flacco and the Ravens in the 31, over the top, it's complete. Torrey Smith in the secondary. Got a great block downfield. He takes it to the New Orleans 29-yard line.
That's a beautiful play-action pass. Joe Flacco off the plant. Fools the inside linebackers. 5 steps. Flacco will take. As soon as that fifth step hits the ground, he throws a seam post to Torrey Smith, and watch Steve Smith. Selling out. Torrey Smith on the post pattern and Steve Smith on the backside block. How'd you like to have those two Smiths?
For this sneeze at Justin Forsett, the back. 29 good block at the point of attack. Will take Forsett into the red zone and a first down at the 19-yard line. Well, you know the whole Ray Rice story off the field this year, so Baltimore did need a running back and steps into the void. Does Justin Forsett, who was with Jacksonville last year, played 9 games, went on injured reserve. Was eventually let go, was looking for a home, looking for a place, and he found Gary Kubiak, the new coordinator in Baltimore, man who he played for in Houston in 2012. And he's really been a great fit in this offense. This flag?
False
Push it back
start.
5.
Number 81 offense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Talk about the travels of what we say are journeyman backs. Late round pick by Seattle. Lasted 1 game there. Waived. Looking for a home. Colts pick him up here for a month. They move on, and then Seattle says, we want you back. So he was there. He ended up playing a good role, backed up Marshawn Lynch, then to the Texans in this Kubiak offense, but behind Ben Tate and Arian Foster. A year with the Jaguars on IR, as I said. Ravens signed him in April, and here he is now with 721 yards coming in to tonight. And adding to it here, Forsett pushed out of bounds, got the penalty yardage and more back.
You get the ball outside. Somebody did a nice job. Right tackle Rick Wagner taking over for Michael Orr. He and Marshall Yonda secure the edge, and Junior Gillette got to do a better job against the run. Justin Forsett, Eugene Monroe, Darrell Smith. How about these 3 ex-Jacksonville Jaguars that are lighting it up in Baltimore?
From the 13, Forsett again with a cutback inside the 10, into the end zone. Justin Forsett for his 6th touchdown of the year.
Somebody put Marshall Yonda into the Pro Bowl. Punishing people at right guard. The veteran Baltimore Raven on this stretch play, working again with Rick Wagner. Helps Forsett walk.
And John, we saw in the last drive, Broderick Bunkley went out. He's replaced by John Jenkins, 92. And 92 got pushed way off the line of scrimmage, those back-to-back drives. And Forsett found the end zone. Extra point by Tucker. And the Ravens retake the 7-point lead. He's on his 15. He's made an impact on the 2014 Ravens. Justin Forsett puts them up 7. Gary Kubiak's offense is averaging 10.5 yards per play. Here in the first quarter and a half, he always seems to find running backs. Even Terrell Davis, remember, 6th-round pick of the success he had in Denver. Kubiak, the offensive coordinator there, with guys like Olandis Gary and Mike Anderson were coming through, relatively unknown, unheard of. Clinton Portis was a known factor, and he continued that success. But a Reuben Drones adding to that list. And then he goes to Houston as the head coach, and Steve Slayton picks up the slack, and undrafted Arian Foster becomes a multiple-time Pro Bowler. And now Justin Forsett, now at 800 even this year. A little bloodied, a little battered, but enjoying the best times of his 7-year NFL career. Just ran in that touchdown that gives Baltimore a 7-point lead. It's the backs getting the glory, but the system really works for these runners.
Certainly does, and you got to credit Rick Dennison, who came with them from Houston. They know what they're doing.
Touchback. Saints will take over at the 20. The Saints, we've seen plenty of good backs here over the years.
Well, speaking of backs, they miss the threat of a Reggie Bush. I saw him run a halfback choice and beat Patrick Willis, no problem. Then they got Darren Sproles, and he ran it better than Reggie Bush. I saw him beat A.J. Hawk, and I couldn't believe the yardage that these backs made. But Sproles is gone. Now he's running halfback choice for the Philadelphia Eagles with similar results, and the Saints don't even run halfback choice anymore. So they miss the tonnage that they had coming out of the backfield in the passing game, Mike.
Pierre Thomas is trying to take that role. He takes a handoff here and gains 4 yards. Thomas had missed the last 4 games with his injuries, and they were missing some of what he brings. But, John, that's been such a difference-making part of this offense that is part of the reason some of the starch is not here, candidly, with Sean Payton's unit right now.
As good an offensive coach as I've met, and he knows how to use all 5 eligible receivers, and the running backs are good for over 125 catches a year in this system.
Right.
And big plays, and they don't really have that element without Darren Sproles and Reggie Bush, obviously.
2nd and 6. There's a catch out of the backfield for Mark Ingram. Doesn't catch it as much as Thomas does. His 19th reception of the year and a first down. Of course, Bush is now with the Lions. Sproles left last year and is off in Philadelphia. And look at those receiving totals, John. We had 70-plus reception seasons 5 times. Bush had an 80-plus reception season when he arrived. And that unique use of these guys by Sean Payton helped make them a lot of money, and the Saints very successful.
And they were great returners, and the Saints have struggled doing that without them as well.
37, they get it in the hands of Kenny Stills, but that time Baltimore waiting on the other side. It's a loss of 2 and another big play by the rookie C.J. Mosley.
You can get me once, but you're going to have a hard time getting me twice. They're going to run a reverse back to the offensive right, and C.J. Mosley falls back easily. And he beat Zach Street for the tackle. Instinctive, athletic, every down, future star.
Brees got a little peek at what the Ravens were doing, decides to check it down to Thomas as Brees got hit. Thomas takes it right around the 40-yard line.
Drew Brees uses Jimmy Graham to gather pre-snap information. When you see the corners go over to cover the receivers, he knows it's man. When he sees the corner line up over here against the tight end, Brees knows it's some form of a zone or a zone blitz. That time it's a zone blitz, but Brees uses these formations to see the defense. Now you know it's man-to-man because Will Hill is out here on Graham.
And follows him in that short motion. Brees 3rd down, incomplete, as again, Brees was pressured, but the flag comes down, back by the quarterback. Haloti Ngata came in there. And did he come up too high?
Personal foul, roughing the passer, number 92 defense. Helmet to the chin. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Take a look at it. Ngata comes right up the middle. Boy.
Crown of the helmet to the chin, and we'll take the ball across midfield into Ravens territory.
2 questionable calls against the Ravens tonight. One against Will Hill on 3rd and 1, and that one against Haloti Ngata. Alert for the shot play in this field position.
Send the bullet out to Stills. Pass Levine on the sideline. And it'll turn into a first down gain of 7.
We've covered the Saints so many times, Mike, and when Sean Payton gets the ball between the 40s, you must be alert for the shot plays. He carries 8 to 10 shot plays in every game plan, and he tries not to go home without using all of his bullets. And his 2nd and short in this position. I'd be surprised if he doesn't take one here.
Ready. Hey, Mike, 5-7. Ready, 5-7.
38. Brees looking, has to check it down to Thomas. An open field tackle by Courtney Upshaw. We're talking about these Alabama linebackers. They took Upshaw in the 2nd round in 2012. And he and Mosley give you a pretty good pair to roll tide with.
Well, Upshaw is a professional edge setter in the running game and underneath in pass coverage. And he comes off the field. He must be a very unselfish football player, Mike, because he doesn't get the opportunities to rush. He allows Doomerville to come in fresh as a daisy and do what he does best.
3rd and 3. They're communicating. Brees snaps it while they're talking about it. Stills downfield. Now Stills pulls it away, but was he inbounds when he pulled it away? They'll say yes at the 5. This should be looked at. Stills pulled it from Danny Gore, but when he gains possession, is he out of bounds? Tight call. Let's look.
Well, he takes the ball away from Danny Gore, who thinks he has an interception. That looks like 2 feet possession to me.
Oh, well, you see the ball right there? It comes back through his legs. He doesn't have secure possession all the way through. John Harbaugh is down there. He's talking to his guys upstairs, and he's throwing the challenge flag. See, the ball slips out of his hands and back between his knees, and he finally secures it. And Harbaugh is challenging this call.
Baltimore is challenging the ruling on the field of a completed pass by the Saints.
Once he gains complete control of the ball as they fight for it, is he inbounds or not? John, another replay review. I know you're excited about this.
Thank goodness for instant replay.
It was a battle with the ball in the air. Kenny Stills out of Oklahoma, Danny Gore out of Texas A&M, who's been on multiple teams. Here is what they have been looking at. Does Stills have possession at any point in there while inbounds? And they get a knee would let him be inbounds, a shin would let him be inbounds. Bill Levy, in consultation with the folks in New York, have had a look, and here's what they say.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands. Baltimore will be charged with second timeout.
Kenny Stills, they need to get him going. He's had some drop passes. He started the season with a quad injury, but it's a good thing there's only 2 games tonight, Mike, because Dean Blandino's been busy in New York.
At the Art McNally Game Day Central, I'm candidly surprised at that. Did anybody clearly have possession of the ball? Gore had it first, and then Stills took it back.
And Drew Brees breaks the huddle, and the officials aren't ready yet.
That's what happened that other play back at the 1-yard line, and why they gave him the do-over. So at some point, they must feel that there, Stills has possession of the ball while he was inbounds. They consult. That's what they saw. It's 1st and goal at the 5. Here is Brees surveying, running, hit hard as he comes past the 4-yard line. Terrell Suggs with a big hit on Brees.
We see the adjustment Sean Payton has made in the tight red zone this time. They're going to throw the football. Mark Ingram, 7 carries, 0 yards. Here's Suggs against Zach Street. Where is Jimmy Graham in these tight red zone situations?
Play action Brees looking up top, lofting it, brought in. Ingram couldn't get his feet stopped to turn around and turn it upfield. So it's a reception and a gain of only a yard.
Hard play action pass. They're looking for Marcus Colston on a post pattern. Didn't have it, so he checks the ball down to Ingram. And Mark just can't quite gather himself and get it to the corner. And here's Jimmy Graham.
Colson.
Well, Jimmy Graham has just checked in, and I got a feeling. Graham says, throw me one.
He's alone on the right. Third and goal to Graham. Couldn't hang on, and Will Hill able to break it up.
This Raven red zone defense has been outstanding. They've rejected the run. They've stopped play action passes, and now Will Hill, the ex-New York Giant, makes an excellent play.
Just got an arm in there to knock it away, John.
How about this Ravens secondary? I mean, Darian Stewart comes over from the Rams. There's Will Hill, the ex-New York Giant. 2 unknown corners. And they're hanging in there against Drew Brees in every situation.
So it'll be Shane Graham from 20 yards out, kicking for his 9th different team. He'll knock it through, and it's a 4-point game with 4 minutes left here in the first half in New Orleans. the entertaining half. We remind you ESPN's Monday Night Football brought to you by GMC. Enter the Never Say Never sweepstakes for a chance to win a 2015 GMC vehicle at gmc.com/NFL. Pizza Hut, we're taking pizza where it's never been before. And ESPNFanshop.com, powered by Dick's Sporting Goods. That is Deuce Gruden. It's John's son. There's a proud dad who got to watch his son. The whole family was there. His wife Cindy taking the picture. At Yankee Stadium on Saturday, the 150th meeting of the most played rivalry in college football history. Lafayette and Lehigh. Your son plays for Lafayette. They were victorious in that monumental game at the house that Ruth built.
That's one of the proudest things I've ever seen. I mean, those are great kids. It's a credit to Coach Tavani. And Ross Sherman, our tailback, had over 300 yards rushing.
Unbelievable day.
I mean, he's a good back. But thanks for showing that. And what a great group of kids. What a great rivalry. It's my first time. My first time at Yankee Stadium. Yeah. Believe me, I'll be back.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Joe Madden's a Lafayette grad. Now
he is.
Manager of the Chicago Cubs. He was there as well. But it was a weekend with Harvard, Yale, and then that rivalry, Lehigh and Lafayette, which is the most played. And I know it was pretty cool as your son and Lafayette wrapped up their season.
Yeah, that's touching. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Fun part of this weekend for the Gruden family. All the folks associated with those two great schools and a tremendous rivalry over the years. Jacoby Jones missed a 108-yard return. I think it's not going to happen tonight, at least for the moment. Brought down at his own 15-yard line. That's the owner and the chairman of the Saints, Tom Benson. He made some news today. Tom Benson, an $11 million donation to the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton. The stadium is going to be renamed in his honor. Much of the money is going to go to the Hall of Fame Village Master Plan. They're building a tremendous complex there in Canton, Ohio, and Tom Benson with a great gift, but also $1 million of that donated to the Legends Landing Program, where former NFL players can seek counsel and housing. If guys fall on hard times, some of the legends of the game, they have a place to go down the line is the hope. Forsett taking off, and Forsett runs it to the 39-yard line, and they are really running it on the Saints.
They're going to have to take John Jenkins out of this game. That's the third time this nose tackle who's filling in for Broderick Bunkley has been destroyed. He's been no factor whatsoever. You got to get his pads down and play in there, or he's going to hurt this run defense for the rest of this night.
Forsett is over 100 yards already in the first half, 103. That time runs right into Jenkins.
He heard me.
Yeah, that's right. Who makes the play?
This Forsett has been very impressive. I love his size. He can hide behind his blockers. He has acceleration and burst. He's patient and he's very decisive. Doesn't make too many moves, but when he makes one, he hits it. He's protected the football, and he has been a real surprise for Baltimore Raven fans.
Pierce now the running back. Flacco's got time. He's got Pierce out of the backfield just shy of the 45-yard line. Hey, John, as we get to the 2-minute warning here, I just want to mention one more thing about that Tom Benson donation to the Hall of Fame. The owner of the Saints sent a letter to all of his fellow owners saying, I'm donating $1 million towards this Legends program to help those who run into hard times, and he'd encourage his fellow owners to do the same thing. I think it's a great opportunity for all the owners to help pay back the greats who help make the game if they do fall on hard times. And a lot of credit to a man who kept the Saints viable in New Orleans and the Pelicans, the NBA team, viable here after the tough economic times post-Katrina.
Well said, Mike. He's been awfully good to a lot of people for a long time, and right now he needs his Saint defense to get off the field on third down and give Drew Brees a chance in the 2-minute drill.
Interesting final timeout taken there by New Orleans.
Saints have got to prove they can cover some people, Mike. Rob Ryan needs to blitz to get the pressure he needs, and when that happens, somebody in the secondary has got to rise to the occasion.
Well, the Saints are out of timeouts. In the unlikely event there's a play that they would like to challenge in the next 23 seconds, they can't. 3rd and 5. Flacco hit, spun, sacked, thrown down by Junior Gillette.
That's the man they need. Gillette, big contract in the offseason. He's made millions. He's from Stillman College, and that time on a stunt, he finishes Joe Flacco.
2-minute warning, and the Ravens will punt it to Brees and the Saints. I'd like to welcome those of you in New York City and upstate New York who watched the Bills clean out the Jets 38-3 at Ford Field in Detroit. That moves the Bills to 6-5. Right around Thanksgiving, you start looking at that playoff picture. You have the 4 division leaders, the 2 next best records at 7-4, along with the Chargers and Browns, and the tiebreakers will start to factor in. But you see why this is important for the Ravens. Stay with that 7-4 group, stay within a half game of their division lead, or fall back with the Dolphins and Bills at 6-5. Ball punted away, a knuckling line driver by Sam Cook, and on the bounce, Jalen Saunders, the former Jet, signed this week by the Saints, returns it just shy of the 20-yard line. No timeouts, minute 51, left for Drew Brees and New Orleans.
Well, this is what Brees does very well, obviously, Mike. And you got to remember, Pierre Thomas has been out for the last few weeks. They love to run screen passes, check downs. And Pierre Thomas, as good as any back there is in football, picking up blitzes. But watch out for number 23 early in this series.
Brees complete. Or gain of 6 to Thomas to the 25-yard line. New Orleans used 2 of their 3 timeouts in the first quarter.
Ravens are going to be real careful with this young secondary. I don't expect to see any blitzes. Straight 4-man rush.
First down for Brees out of the backfield with Thomas to the 40-yard line.
That's what they do. They just kill you with Pierre Thomas in these 2-minute situations.
Sideline incomplete. Trying to get it to Nick Toon.
He just called an exotic blitz. 3 men coming from outside the tackle. There's a lot of clubs in this Raven defense's bag. And Peace has been around long enough. He's not afraid to use any of them.
Elvis Dumerville got hit by Terrell Suggs in that last play. They ran into each other right by the quarterback. Dumerville back on the field, chasing Brees here as Brees tight ropes the line of scrimmage, goes forward and is out of bounds a yard and a half shy of the first down. It's Darryl Smith, the linebacker, that heads him over there inside of a minute in the half.
We talk about plastering all the time. Watch Jimmy Graham, number 80, on the right side of your screen. Darius Webb did an excellent job plastering to his man in coverage. That quarterback starts scrambling, buying time. It gives these receivers time to get open, and it's difficult on these defensive backs. Nice job by Webb.
3rd and a short 2, and Brees throws complete. It's Cadet for the first down. Again, no timeouts. The Saints are one of the great situational preparation teams. You go to a Sean Payton practice, and they work on these exact situations. No timeouts, 80 yards, and Brees is great at managing the clock along with Sean. Shot in the middle. It's caught by Colston. Driven down to 27.
Gonna kill it. Yep. Seams, screens, and checkdowns. And Brees is notorious for all 3 of those in the 2-minute drill.
Let's go back to a small play here, John. 2:23, I think, was the exact time on the clock, and Sean Payton used his final timeout on that side of the 2-minute warning. The defense comes up with the pressure, gets the sack. It buys Brees another possession. The Ravens get the ball to start the 3rd quarter, so really can help get you closer here, knowing Baltimore's coming back out. Your defense is on the ropes a little bit. It's a small clock management thing. It was a bit of a risk to take, but might pay off in points. Maybe the lead for New Orleans. From the 26, Brees pumping, taking a shot to the end zone, to Colston. Got it! Touchdown, New Orleans.
Unbelievable. Rookie free safety sneaks in the game. Terrence Brooks. Brees looks him off and shreds him. Brooks thought he had the interception. And the veteran, all-time leading receiver of the New Orleans Saints, delivers.
Waiting for the touchdown to be confirmed.
John Harbaugh's shocked that Brooks didn't intercept that pass. You can't be in any better position. Here goes Colston right down the seam, and Brooks sees it all the way. Run over there and catch the football. He got caught on his heels. He was waiting on the ball, and that's a mistake you do not make against Drew Brees and Marcus Colston.
Just want to see as that ball moved around. I'm assuming to make sure. I'm gun shy now at this point tonight after.
Make sure you look at all these reviews.
Yeah, it's good. It's now confirmed for the touchdown.
It's hard on these Saints fans.
'65th connection between those two, tied for 6th all time. Drew Brees to Marcus Colston, pick number 252 in the draft out of Hofstra. When Brees signed here as a free agent in '06, Colston was part of that core that grew up and together went through a lot of this success, and they have given the Saints the lead here before halftime. Toyota Halftime is coming up with Chris Berman. Highlights of that dominant performance by Buffalo in Detroit over the Jets. Well, the latest on Eric Berry, we all send our deepest wishes to the Kansas City Pro Bowl safeties. Really sad health news regarding Eric Berry today, and the latest on Johnny Manziel. It's not on the field since he hasn't been there in a while. It's an off-the-field story, but everybody will have you updated on that. Back in the studio with the Toyota Halftime coming up momentarily. About 600 yards, 31 points, and it's like that little mini Mardi Gras after the Saints scored a touchdown. They have a good time here in New Orleans.
They sole possession of first place is on the line. They've got to capitalize at home on Monday Night Football. It's good to see Elvis is back in the house.
You got two of them. That Elvis and Doomerville from Baltimore. 17 seconds remain. Jacoby Jones has moved up. They'll let that kickoff go. And the Ravens with one timeout take over at their own 20-yard line. Coverage from Spider Camp tonight brought to you by DirecTV. Again, we always are quick to hammer mismanaged clocks. Sean Payton did that one to perfection. Got his team the lead with Baltimore getting the ball to start the third. And let's see what they will do here with 17 and a timeout left. Flacco will draw it to force set. He's at a 100-yard first half. We'll add to it with 13 there.
Boy, he made Hawthorne look bad in a one-on-one situation. He's come out of nowhere and become a force for Baltimore, but they've got their hands full on the road, Mike.
601 yards of offense in the first half. Good game. Saints by 3 as we send it to Chris Berman for the Toyota Halftime. Boom.
Stand by, all cameras. Rotate.
It makes rock concerts look like tea parties.
What a show this man has put on tonight. William Perry fights the football.
Tear down this wall.
Lord, you can take me now. I've seen it all.
Holy moly. Well, boy.
That is something.
Seahawks win the most bizarre finish you'll ever see. Entertaining first half. Joe Flacco and the Ravens got it going. Steve Smith had a touchdown, had 3 catches for 69 yards. But Drew Brees trying to get this Saints team turned around, avoid a 3-game home losing streak. Gets a big touchdown from Marcus Colston at the end of the half. 17-14 New Orleans as we get set. Baltimore starts the third quarter with the ball. Mike, John, Lisa on the sideline. Time for our Zales extraordinary moments. Let's start with Joe Flacco.
I thought Joe Flacco did a nice job recognizing the blitz and making plays when he saw one-on-one coverage, and he certainly has the receivers to do it.
Yeah, you talked about throughout this week what an important part of the game plan that would be against the New Orleans D.
Well, it's pretty obvious it's man-to-man coverage. This time, the safety number 42 blows the coverage, Pierre Warren, and then in the red zone, he sees the isolation at the top of the screen. Steve Smith against Brian Dixon. It's no contest. Great play by Smith. And then later, he sees one-on-one with Steve Smith and Corey White. The Saints have not had an answer in man-to-man coverage against these Raven receivers, particularly Steve Smith.
Lots of yards in this first half, and Baltimore had it rolling early on, but that stop of their drive, what really was their last full drive, and the timeout New Orleans got, giving the Saints the chance to get the ball back. And take the 3-point lead here to the third. Jacoby Jones, the New Orleans native, awaits the Thomas Morstead kickoff. Foot on the white, can't take it from there. It's a touchback. Look at these good numbers both ways in the first 30 minutes for the Saints and Ravens. 146 on the ground, 115 of those on 13 carries by Forsett. Meantime, Brees 260 yards passing. With the sack, it comes down to 251 of pass yards. And in the red zone, Baltimore scored their 2 touchdowns. New Orleans 1 in their 3 visits. Flacco starts the drive from the 20. Paris Harrison couldn't make the tackle on Forsett, who stays in bounds and turns a loss of yards into a gain of 8. Here's Lisa.
Hey, Mike. Well, the secondaries for both teams came into this game with question marks, so I asked both coaches about it. Sean Payton said it's really been a back-and-forth game. They really have a good set of receivers. We got to keep them in front of us. They got behind us a couple of times, but I like the way we're getting to their quarterback. John Harbaugh was obviously disappointed by that last Saints touchdown because he said it should have been an interception. He said his secondary has given up way too many big plays, but other than that, he says he likes the way they're playing.
It's kind of like what Forsett has done in the first half. Junior Gillette in on the tackle. Mentioned that Forsett, good number of 13 and 115 in the first half. Been half a decade since a Ravens player has had a half like that. Ray Rice 151. Now short yardage, 3rd and 1. And remember, Broderick Bunkley, the starting nose tackle for New Orleans, injured to 92. Right in your screen there, John Jenkins on the nose. Pushed around early. They're going to reverse it. And here's Jacoby Jones using his speed to get the edge. A gain of 3 and a first down for Jones.
How about that call by Gary Kubiak? You run the ball with Forsett. And in 3rd down and 1, you fake it to Forsett, bring Jacoby Jones on a reverse. You'll see 21, Patrick Robinson, who has him in one-on-one coverage, just can't quite get there. They're using use check in motion on virtually every play.
Lorenzo Taliaferro now the back. The slant for Steve Smith is incomplete with Robinson in coverage.
They do a nice job in Baltimore changing the launching spot. 5 steps, 3 steps. Move the pocket with a bootleg. That time a crisp 3-step pattern by Steve Smith, who just didn't handle it.
Why is that important, changing that up for the quarterback?
Well, the rushers can't zero in on where you are. And Flacco's a lot better athlete than people give him credit for.
Under center, as he usually is, Flacco hands that time to Pierce, who stopped just shy of the line of scrimmage. Akeem Hicks getting in there with Cameron Jordan.
They get penetration off the right side, and the ball has to cut back. And Akeem Hicks, number 76, falls back with help from Curtis Lofton, and this sets up a long 3rd and 11. And this Saint crowd is back in the game.
Flacco pumps, will take off, and then throw to Smith. Great use of that mobility, and Steve Smith works the sideline to midfield, and he gets up, and he and Kenny Vaccaro going after each other here. Look out, a mess on the Ravens sideline. Vaccaro in there without his helmet. And a good job of calm by the guys on the Ravens sideline. What could have been an ugly situation. And multiple officials pulled Vaccaro without the helmet out of the mix.
Wow. You want to mess with Steve Smith. Does a nice job uncovering when Flacco scrambles. He makes one Saint defender miss, and then he and Vaccaro have it out. For 14 years, Steve Smith has led the league in being one of the nastiest competitors that I've seen, Mike. And Vaccaro, he won't back down from anyone. This is going to be interesting as this game unfolds.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 32 defense. 15-yard penalty, first down.
Saw it last year. It was Steve Smith against Aqib Talib. This year it's Steve Smith against Kenny Vaccaro.
You see Smith being the aggressor after the play happened, and almost like he's chasing Vaccaro back into the bench area. You always get frustrated when you see multiple flags, offsetting penalties. At least they made a decision. You might not agree with the decision, but they say that Vaccaro instigated this.
I tend to agree.
Plus the 15. You do?
I think I'd call it on both.
Yeah, it's one of the rare times I would say flag them both because they were both at fault.
Let's play.
Makes it a huge gain for the Ravens. 35 yards with the pass and the penalty. And Flacco's got to get rid of it at the feet of Owen Daniels. Incomplete. We had Junior Gillette bearing in on him and yapping in his ear along the way.
Well, Steve Smith has been a force tonight in this game, and it started in the first half. They blow a coverage, and Steve Smith converts on 3rd and 8. Then he beats Brian Dixon for a touchdown. What a catch and sideline concentration. He beats Corey White for another big game, and he just created a huge first down.
Second and 10. And the Saints seem to be energized. There's a lot of physical play going on now. Akeem Hicks with the hit at the running back.
Akeem Hicks, he's coming on. Excuse me, Mike. Outstanding run defender. Hard to cut off on the backside of some of these plays. That time he just throws Rick Wagner to the ground.
Oh,
3rd and 12.
This officiating crew, which has been a bit shaky tonight, better get control of this game. Blitz coming. Flacco throwing. Underneath it's caught. And Marlon Brown's got a first down at the 21-yard line.
That's just too easy. I don't understand that call. An all-out blitz on 3rd and 12. Flacco sees it the whole way, and Marlon Brown against Patrick Robinson. That's stealing. One-on-one coverage, the Saints just don't match up with Baltimore. And I don't know if they match up with anyone right now, given the injuries that they have in the back end.
That is the first catch of the night for Marlon Brown. The 21, it'll be force set. Penetration, strung it out, and Junior Gillette, who was involved a couple of plays ago in that entanglement with Eugene Monroe, has played very aggressively on this series.
Well, Gary Kubiak has tried everything. Inside runs, outside runs, that's a toss sweep. They've had a hard time stopping force set tonight. They've leaned on pressure. And if they continue to blitz, I'd be shocked if Torrey Smith or Marlon Brown don't get a chance to play the ball.
Play action Flacco. Swing it out to Owen Daniels. Look at all the black shirts. There is nowhere to go.
That time they fake the stretch. They're trying to run a screen pass to Owen Daniels on the backside. And New Orleans has nothing to do with it. Junior Gillette gets off a block, buys time for the Saints to get there. And there's Jenkins, 92, finishing it. Good recognition by this Saint defense, and it's another 3rd and long. And surprisingly, the Saints have struggled the most in these long yardage situations.
Play clock running down. Steve Smith back in. Off in time. And Flacco's pass is shy of the first down with Owen Daniels. It's 4th and a little more than a yard. A field goal, a chance to tie the game at 17. What will John Harbaugh do? He'll send the kicking unit on.
Justin Tucker, every time we see him, he puts on a show for us. He's missed 3 field goals this year, Mike. Have you seen how far they've been?
Everything 55 and up on his misses. It was the only 3 he has missed. You mentioned we saw him last year at Detroit kick a 61-yarder to win the game. This one's from 31. Kevin McDermott snaps it. Sam Cook holds it. And all 3 jobs done to perfection. Woo, good stuff. All even at 17. Sweet sounds of New Orleans. Bourbon Street a tad quieter, especially with the Saints playing primetime. They have been so good in this stadium in primetime, winning their last 7 Monday nighters in decisive passion by an average of 20+ points. Won their last 14 in primetime at home. Tucker to kick. Bouncing knuckler that Cadet will think about, take a knee, and the Saints will take over at the 20. Brees trying to close in on another 300-yard passing night. Most importantly, his team all tied at 17 with the Ravens. 4-6, good enough to be a half game up in the NFC South. The Saints trying to hold off, quote-unquote, 4-7 Atlanta. Falcons already have a win over New Orleans this year, thus the mini tiebreaker edge thus far. From the 20, it's a first down run with Pierre Thomas, who's near a gain of 5. Back to the first half.
A couple big plays. Drew Brees on a play-action pass hits Joseph Morgan. With Darius Webb in coverage and Will Hill, the safety, blew the coverage. And then you see Terrence Brooks at free safety, fails to play this ball in flight. And Drew Brees has gotten after these 2 young safeties of the Ravens.
Second and 5, and it's caught by Benjamin Watson. The tight end's a yard shy of the first down as he was pulled out of bounds. It's again Suggs on the hit.
And these calls are so difficult against this Raven defense. Short yardage. Sean Payton spread them out the last time, threw a quick out to Jimmy Graham. They have had no success running the football between the tackles. Look out for a play-action pass of some kind.
Go on the quick count, and they give it to the upback to get the first down. So they slide Mark Ingram in there in the fullback slot, and he gets to the 38-yard line.
Trickery and short yardage. Reverse pivot, and Ingram on the quick count surges for the first down. Baltimore wasn't ready. Nice work.
And it is, John, because that's an area where they have struggled. They're below the league average. They were 10 of 17 on 3rd and 1 this year. They've converted both here tonight. Brees got a good block to get some time. It's just a short pass. And Graham gets leveled by Haloti Ngata, or rather, Hill gets leveled by Ngata.
You see Suggs talking to Ingram. It's a good thing Mark Ingram was there because Terrell Suggs is off to the races. 99.5 sacks, Mike. He could become the 31st football player ever to get 100.
Since they've been tracking sacks officially back in 1982. Pierre Thomas will run to the right. Good gain by Thomas. It's a Raven territory, but there's a flag down with that hole opened up.
Holding, number 73 offense. 10-yard penalty, second out.
And the 5-time Pro Bowl guard, Jari Evans, the guilty party.
Got latched up with C.J. Mosley, and hands are outside. I didn't see that either. I'm not seeing the penalties as clearly as they are down there, Mike.
Kind of a return to your coaching days, John.
Yeah.
You always like to protect the teams and not peek at a play sheet or a call sheet, but it's very interesting. Sean Payton has next play written in big letters at the top of his play sheet. Just one of those reminders to the play caller. Free run by Mosley towards Brees. His pass to the sideline to Cadet is a catch right around the 41-yard line. Just back to that point with Sean on that play sheet. Sometimes when you are the play caller, there are things you see during the week that you need to remind yourself of. That next play in big letters is just a self-reminder.
You see those highlighted plays? The pink ones are real hot. Those are the ones he likes. The ones in yellow are ones that he will activate if he sees something that he likes. Millions of plays on that sheet. Some he likes more than others.
28 left, 28 left, ready. Ready, my son.
3rd and 7. Ravens bring pressure as Brees steps up, and he's intercepted. Cutting underneath, Hill will score. Touchdown. Little disguise in the pressure. They get Brees, and it's a pick six for the ex-Giant Will Hill, and the Ravens take the lead.
Drew Brees' 13th turnover, and Will Hill undercuts a shallow cross. I felt like Brees was late, and these are the turnovers that are ruining the New Orleans Saints season. Balls thrown behind Jimmy Graham. Don't know that Drew Brees saw him, Mike. The pocket was very congested. We know Brees isn't the tallest of quarterbacks. I don't think he ever saw Hill, and he missed the throw.
Great example of everything working in concert. A little disguise on where and how and the timing of that pressure. A bit inaccurate with the throw. Hill takes it the other way. Tucker, the extra point. Will Hill, his second career touchdown. He picked up Matthew Stafford for 6 in a crucial game late in the season last year in Detroit. Now he's got Drew Brees in New Orleans, and he gives the Ravens the lead. So Will Hill comes up with the interception, the 3rd pick six thrown by Brees this year.
Well, you're going to see Suggs, number 55, on a blitz, and Jari Evans at right guard doesn't pick it up. Clean. And Drew Brees under duress misses the throw. But Terrell Suggs, coming from a linebacker position, fools the Saint offensive line. And as I said earlier, they have a lot of different things they can do, and they create confusion. And when you have confusion against Terrell Suggs, you're in trouble.
They can pay as Cadet tries to bring it back, and he'll just be pulled down right near the 20-yard line. The Brees comes back, trying to make up for the one he gave away, try to get New Orleans back to even. Drew Brees intercepted 12 times last year. Here in game 11, the 11th time he's been intercepted this year. It led to the touchdown by Will Hill, the former Giant, who was out for 6 games, suspended for substance abuse, policy violation, marijuana charge. Comes back to the Ravens, comes up with a big play. Brees back to work, completes it to Stills. And out of 36 at 16 yards of the first down for Kenny Stills.
A lot of quarterbacks that I've seen cannot shake off a mistake. Drew Brees, mentally tough, comes right back with a beautiful play action strike to Stills.
Here's Mark Ingram. Across the 40. And Ingram will be stopped just shy of the 42. They go quick with the whistles now to make sure anything post-play is cleaned up. But John, you talk about mistakes and Brees bouncing back from those. It is one of the truest indicators in football, your turnover margin. You cannot make these up. And -9, one of the bottom teams in the league in turnover margin. It's one of the big reasons this is a 4-6 team.
The Saints are 26-0 when they don't turn the ball over. Drew Brees and Sean Payton. You're exactly right.
On 2nd and 4, Brees in trouble and brought down. See if they give that to Suggs, who made the contact as Brees was about to go down to the ground.
I think Terrell Suggs just went over 100 sacks. They had Marcus Colston wide open down the field on a seam, but Colston beats Armstead to the inside, and I think he'll get credit for something there.
He should, if not the full, a half, and it'll get him to 100+ sacks, and as you said before, 31st player to do that since 1982 when the sack became an official stat. 3rd down, Brees in trouble again, and the ball spit out as well, but he was down on the contact by Dumerville, who gets him for the 2nd time tonight.
Well, Suggs causes an interception. Suggs gets a sack, and Dumerville says, "What about me?" One-on-one in pass protection. Zach Strief with no help, and down goes Drew Brees.
Very similar to a drive that Baltimore had in its last game 2 weeks ago against Tennessee. A series full of sacks. They had a couple there back-to-back to force this Morstead punt. Flag down, 43-yard kick. Jacoby Jones at the 27. Cut down as he cut across the 32-yard line. Moses Foku just signed this week by the Saints on the tackle. With 2 penalty markers thrown.
During the kick, holding, number 26 of the receiving team. 10-yard penalty from the end of the kick. 1st down, timeout.
So the Matt Elam penalty will give Baltimore the long field, but the sack story, they've gotten to Drew Brees twice on that drive, 4 times tonight. Helping Baltimore lead by 7. How do plays work? Precise timing. Give you a total replay, multiple look at why a play looks so easy when you see it sync up.
Love watching Joe Flacco under the center. It's a 5-step drop. There is no hitch. That back foot hits the ground. 5th step, ball's gone. And he throws it before the receiver turns. And the receiver's running a 7-step seam post, and he breaks off that outside foot. The receiver has to be exact in his footwork, as does the quarterback. And at real speed, it's a beautiful thing to watch. Those are the kind of plays I used to stand on the practice field, and that's just how you do it right there. Flacco making a lot of progress in this Gary Kubiak offense.
And when you talk about the exact precision, it's 5 steps. It's not 6. It's not 7. It has to sync with the route run by the receiver. Forsett on that carry to the 24-yard line. And, John, it's a different set of steps and mechanics when you're under center compared to the shotgun. And we see quarterbacks all the time now in the shotgun. Not in the Gary Kubiak offense, especially with Flacco. A lot of these snaps happen from under center.
I love it. There's more precision. You don't see a lot of bubble screens and no huddles and guys holding up signs. You see a lot of precision, personnel substitution, good old school professional football. I love it.
Forsett limped off. Pierce replaces him. And Bernard Pierce carries very close to the 1st down. We talk about shotgun snaps. In the league, the average is 77% of passes come from the shotgun or the pistol coming into this week. Here's the list of the qualifying quarterbacks. Top of the list, Nick Foles in the Chip Kelly offense, and then Phillip Rivers in San Diego. Brian Hoyer is 2nd to last at 60%. Look at the difference between 2nd to last and last to Flacco in percentage of the passes that come out of the shotgun or the pistol. He is so much more under center than most, and that time from under center allows ahead 4 yards for the 1st down.
I just really like what these two guards bring to the Baltimore Ravens. We've talked about Yanda at right guard, but this left guard, Kelechi Osemele, is a road grader. And in a quarterback situation, or quarterback sneak situation, you probably want to lean towards running behind that left guard.
Final half minute of the third, and Pierce still in for set. And that New Orleans defense is trying to put a little line in the ground here. We have pushing deep in the secondary. Torrey Smith was involved. And it gets broken up as Smith was involved in that. John, you see Sean Payton's card a moment before. How about all the options on this IHOP menu?
It's unbelievable. I mean, I don't know if that's from 3 years ago and he just keeps adding every week. Gary Kubiak is a great coach, but look at that sideline sheet. What is he doing?
Pick one, anyone. Into the third, Ravens by 7.
ESPN celebrating 45 years of Monday Night Football.
Off we go to the fourth quarter. The Ravens all 10 points in the third. The entire game's been within 7 points throughout. Fourth quarter begins with 2nd and 10 for Baltimore as Flacco completes the pass for the first down to Torrey Smith, and this pushing and shoving post play continues. They'll move the chains for the first down.
It's a beautiful thing, Mike. Watch Joe Flacco. Here's the blitz. He's going to drop straight back to pass. 3-step drop, that back foot hits the ground. He's got the ball out of his hand, and a beautiful fly stop by Torrey Smith. I've met a lot of Smiths this year, Mike, on Monday Night Football.
First down 39. Flacco gets it to Juszczyk, the tight end, or their fullback, I should say, who gains about 7 yards before Curtis Lofton can bring down Kyle Juszczyk.
Juszczyk, who fumbled earlier on that play, secures the football. And when you're a fullback and you're kicking out the end man on the line of scrimmage, and then you kick him out again and you hand the ball off, every once in a while you slip that fullback into the flat, and it's an effective play pass that sets up a 2nd and 3 alert for a shot play in this field position.
46 Forsett back in the game, takes the handoff, and will only gain a yard. Paris Harrelson, longtime 49er, been here a couple of years, makes the tackle.
Last time in a short yardage situation, the Ravens called a reverse to Jacoby Jones. Rob Ryan trying to make something happen. Most of the time he has to do it himself with some kind of blitz. Let's see if he brings it.
Tight splits, the receivers close to the offensive lineman. Flacco back, fires, complete for the first down and more for Torrey Smith. Patrick Robinson had a hand on him, couldn't make the tackle, so it's a lot more as they take it to the 38-yard line.
It's a lot of precision. You put Flacco underneath the center, 3-step drop, that back foot hits the ground. He throws it before Torrey Smith's out of the break. Torrey Smith and Joe Flacco are on the same page. You can tell they're world champions, and they've been together over 50 consecutive starts for Smith and Flacco. And Torrey Smith is hot.
The New Orleans sideline taking a timeout here. I think they're one shot. They were. Saints only had 10 players on the field.
Running out of players, Mike. Frustrating. Lost Bunkley in the first half. He hasn't returned. They've had issues at safety. Big time. They've lost 4 different safeties this season. And the cornerback position has injuries. They're on fumes on defense.
Sean Payton, you can see very unhappy as they had a wasted timeout on defense with Rob Ryan Go back to the Cleveland game earlier this year. There's been frustration of what's been going on with the defense and the communication.
Well, it's hard. You have all these different packages. You see number 36 out there, Marcus Ball, the ex-Canadian player. He's coming out. Here comes number 42. They just claimed off the Minnesota Vikings practice squad, Pierre Warren. This is a lot harder than it looks.
Warren signed Tuesday. Use check moves to that offset eye spot, traditional for a fullback. He blocks the edge, is for set. Runs for gain of a yard, and post play continues. Osemele playing past the whistle.
Second down and 9. Where is Steve Smith, Mike? Ever since that altercation earlier with Vaccaro, he has not returned. Yeah. You see Aiken and Marlon Brown at crunch time.
In on 1 3rd down, but I think that's been about it since then. John Flacco boots it to the right. He's in trouble, has to get rid of it. Force set is waiting. It's no gain. And Paris Harrelson, second time we've called his name on this drive, sets up a key 3rd down for the Saints defense.
Got to credit these Saints outside linebackers for containing Flacco on these bootlegs. And on 3rd down and 9, Baltimore at the least would love to get any kind of completion to set up Tucker to make this a 2-possession game. And guess who's returned, Mike? Steve Smith is in the slot.
Great 3rd down night for the Ravens, and a lot of them have been 3rd and long. Flacco hit as he threw it, incomplete. That pressure at the very end, it was Junior Gillette or Harrelson who got there and got a hand on it.
Well, Gallette's had a big night. You see 93 on the left side of your screen. He beat Eugene Monroe easily. Ravens are lucky that wasn't intercepted. And here is Tucker for a 55-yard bomb. And we've seen him pull this off easily, Mike.
Creates so much speed with that hip turn. Tucker, 55.
Boy.
Good again. What a clutch kicker, and such a good deep kicker as well. Justin Tucker's 4th 50. So many bands make great sounds. The Dukes of Dixieland, been together for a long time. Grammy nominated. Entertain us as we tell you that our coverage from Spider Camp tonight is brought to you by DirecTV. Wider in the dome, 13 unanswered by Baltimore. Ravens by 10. That can't get it. Justin Tucker, after that long field goal, leaves Drew Brees with a long field. So the New Orleans Saints at 4-6, trying to maintain their division lead. If they lose, they're tied with Atlanta. Baltimore knows that they have to win to become the 4th team to 7 wins in this crazy AFC North. Mark Ingram running left, looking for yards, able to get 4. Chris Canty the tag. It's been a busy night. If you're just joining us, here's how it's gone down. Ravens took the lead on a Steve Smith touchdown pass, 97-yard drive. Game tied at 7 when Brees went to Jimmy Graham. After the first quarter, I'll leave it at 7. Justin Forsett, a 13-yarder, put Baltimore on top. But then after a Shane Graham field goal and good clock management by Sean Payton, that Colston touchdown gave the Saints the lead. But the Ravens come back. Will Hill, after a game-tying field goal by Tucker, a pick 6 to give Baltimore a 24-17 lead as Jimmy Graham makes the catch at the 35-yard line for a first down. After Sean Payton's team held Baltimore to a field goal, John, it's now a 10-point deficit with 10 minutes left in regulation.
And nobody can emerge in this NFC South. A little surprised Drew Brees hasn't jumped back into that 2-minute drill offense that was so good to him at the end of the first half.
This is Pierre Thomas. He'll run that to the right, to the 38-yard line. We talked about the story in the NFC South. Remember, Atlanta has not lost a division game, including a win over the Saints. Incredibly, everybody's still in it. The Bucs at 2-9 could be 2 games out unless the Saints rally from down 10 here.
Travis Cadet has come back into the game as the third down back. Although it is second and long, they like to use Cadet as the go-to back out of the backfield.
Hey, Detroit 51, Detroit 51. Sit down there, jerk. Mike 51, ready? Ready, set.
Brees redirecting, orchestrating. What's the payoff? It's a play to the left side, and Colston made a great catch at the 35.
That's just a great play by Brees. They're trying to get Travis Cadet on a little option route. I think Colston's running a clear out on the left side of the screen, and Brees just throws a back shoulder ball and lets Colston do what he's done for years. Danny Gorer playing right corner, number 37. No match for the big and physical Marcus Colston. That's the second time.
4 catches, 81 yards for Colston.
Mike 51, ready? You ready, my son?
8.5 left. Ingram spinning, pinballing his way. 8 hard yards for Mark Ingram, who's really emerged. Remember, in his first 40 games, very frustrated. He was, the fans were. He didn't get the opportunities. They've gone to him a lot the last 6 games.
Well, they're going to run right behind Jari Evans and Zach Street. Marcus Colston at the point of attack, blocking Courtney Upshaw, an outside linebacker. Sets up a 2nd and 1.
Pierre Thomas now rotates in. Takes the handoff, get the first down. Stopped at the 21-yard line with forward progress. We approach the halfway point of this fourth quarter drive that the Saints have to get some points, really. You start feeling, John, they may be down to 1 or 2 more possessions max after this one.
And they have struggled in the red zone tonight, especially the tight red zone. But they have used the quick count as a weapon to run the football against this massive Raven front.
Mike 51. Omaha, River.
The 21, there is time. Brees to the middle. Graham can't hang on. And Will Hill, who has that pick 6 and had coverage on Graham in the end zone earlier tonight. There again.
But to give kudos to Will Hill. One-on-one against one of the best tight ends on the planet. Will Hill shows his length and athleticism. I saw him do it in the red zone. He broke up a 3rd and goal pass. He intercepted a ball for a touchdown. 3 times he's rejected Jimmy Graham.
Ready, 30. 5-7. You ready, my son?
21, it is Kenny Stills. The open field, gain of 5 to the 16-yard line. And John, we've talked about this a lot. Many games watching the Saints here for their playoff run, their championship run. There were more dynamic players, it felt like, stretching the field. There was a buzz in the stadium. You felt every snap was going to be a score. Now it feels like a struggle for the Saints to get these touchdowns when they get in close.
Well, they've had to go 80 yards, it seems, every time they get the ball. But keep an eye on Graham at the top of the screen against Hill. That's the matchup of the night.
22, Kenny. Back to left to 57. Back to left. Ready. You ready, my son?
The dummy snap count gave Brees a look. He goes Graham, back shoulder, too high. Incomplete. 4th and 5. They need a field goal to get it to a 7-point game, and they'll go for it here.
They use that trips formation. They know it's man-to-man. They see Hill as safety one-on-one with Graham, and for the 4th time tonight, Will Hill gets it done. That's normally automatic for the Saints, Mike.
And that's a microcosm of their season. They're just a little off, just a little high on the throw. Just can't make the big play. And the Ravens defense, that secondary, has come up big in some spots. 34-yard big field goal to make it a 7-point game, not through by Shane Graham. Now it's on the Ravens offense after Hill and the defense hold the Saints to a field goal. Well, the top four right now: Alabama, Oregon, Florida State 3, Mississippi State 4. The Chasers, you know what kind of movement off of last week's action in the college football playoff. Top 25. The rankings are announced tomorrow night, 7 Eastern on ESPN. Of course, one of the two semifinals will be right here, the Sugar Bowl on New Year's evening. All leading up to the BCS National Championship College Football Playoff Championship game, I should say, on January 12th. To the uprights, no returns. So Flacco will take over with a 7-point lead. 6:33 to go, trying to sweep the South this year. Six and a half to go. Ravens lead 27-20. And John, this is a Baltimore team that faces a New Orleans defense missing its nose tackle, trying to mount a third drive here with success. They've been able to shoot time and yards and score the last time. 2 times they've had the ball. First down from the 20. Flacco goes to the air, and Torrey Smith's got it. Watch out for the pursuit from behind. It's a gain of 15 as he was chased down by Kasim Edebali, the rookie out of Boston College.
Same play they ran on the last series. A fly stop. You fly off the ball, you stop immediately, 10 to 11 yards deep, and the ball's thrown before the corner can find an easy first down. St. Corners have really struggled in one-on-one coverage tonight.
The fullback Juszczyk blocks for Forsett. And Forsett's in the clear. Chased by the safety, cuts it back to the inside. Forsett to the 30-yard line. Big pickup of 35.
Zone stretch play off the right side, and you're going to see right guard Yonda 73, right tackle Wagner 71, Juszczyk 44. And look at Steve Smith at the point of attack. Go in there and block Kenny Vaccaro. That is as good as it gets.
160, career best for Forsett. Bernard Pierce gives him a break. Pierce loses 5. Pursuit by Paris Harrelson.
Go back on Steve Smith. You know, when he was in Carolina, he told us, you know, I kind of felt like I was in the minority. I know I'm considered to be a tough guy, a mean, ornery guy, and I was in the minority there. But when I signed up with the Ravens, now I'm in the majority. I get to go out there with big, nasty guys like Suggs and Yonda and Haloti Ngata and Doomerville and Lardarius Webb. And he feels like he fits right in. And that block he just laid on Kenny Vaccaro sums Steve Smith up.
They often talk about the Raven way and style of play and tenacity. He fits. Flacco, shot towards the end zone, towards Smith. Incomplete. Flag comes in as Smith tangles with Keenan Lewis.
This is a Super Bowl MVP quarterback, Joe Flacco, just seeing one-on-one and making a simple hand signal, and they go after Keenan Lewis, who has a bad knee.
It was interesting. Their feet get tangled, and tangled feet is not
illegal
pass
use of the hands to the face.
That's
number 72 of the offense. Pass interference. Number 28 of the defense. Penalties offset. Replay second out.
You have the other flag by the line of scrimmage, but that flag down there for pass interference by rule is incorrect because tangled feet is not pass interference.
Once again, Mike, with Tucker's long-range field goal ability, look for defensive coordinator Rob Ryan to blitz. It's in his genes. Buddy Ryan, Rex Ryan, Rob Ryan, at crunch time in these situations, have always relied on heat.
The offset keeps it at 2nd and 14. Flacco, that was communication. He thought he was going to throw it quick and hot to Marlon Brown. Turns into an incompletion, and a flag is thrown, perhaps for intentional grounding. Brown is saying, I was in the area. It certainly was miscommunication.
The zone blitz, and Junior Gillette dropped.
Ineligible man downfield. Number 60 offense. 5-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
Flacco wants to throw a quick slant to his left, but Junior Gillette drops into coverage on this zone blitz and fools Joe Flacco. And as we said earlier, that penalty knocks Tucker potentially out of field goal range. Critical, they do not give Tucker a look, or it becomes a two-possession game. Look for more pressure.
You always talk about run plays that the quarterback automatically turns into a pass. That time it burned them. That's why it was ineligible downfield. This gets him closer to field goal range with Torrey Smith. Maybe the first down with Smith. Chased down from behind. It's a yard shy of the first down as Kenny Vaccaro gets there. And we go inside 4 minutes.
Well, Patrick Robinson's got to make this tackle. It's another blitz, a predictable blitz. Just a simple hook over the ball. Patrick Robinson's got to make this tackle. And Torrey Smith, the all-time home run hitter in Raven history, hurts New Orleans. Over 17 yards a catch, 25 touchdowns, unrestricted free agent at the end of the season. Can't see Ozzie Newsome letting Smith out of Baltimore.
Third and 2 for set for what would be a big first down. Gets very close to the mark. Of course, the yellow line, unofficial ball, just close to the 20-yard line. Clock is stopped by Bill Levy, the referee. He'll get everybody back, take a look. The official chains are on the near side, on the Saints sideline here in this half. They switch each half, sides of the field. And they'll come out for a measurement with 3:12 to go. First down. And now that timeout that New Orleans had to burn because of 10 players on the field on defense will really limit their ability to use the clock here. And Baltimore is in great shape. Up 7 in field goal range with 3:12 to go.
Crockett Gilmore, a rookie tight end, has just checked in, number 80. Aiken, number 11, blocking wide receiver. No doubt Baltimore will run the football, and New Orleans is going to blitz and try to shoot a gap and cause a turnover. That's their only chance because Tucker has just been automatic forever, Mike.
New Orleans takes a timeout here, and they let some time slip off the clock before they took the timeout. So the clock management that worked well in the first half, not there. They're down to 1. Of course, they have the 2-minute warning as well here with 2:59 to go. Ravens trying to get to 7 wins where everybody is in the AFC North. Cincinnati, because of that tie with Carolina earlier this year, half game ahead of Pittsburgh and Cleveland. And Baltimore trying to join them. You see the remaining games. The Ravens down to just 1 division game against Cleveland the final week of the season. And everybody else has multiple. Still ahead. Forsett into the clear, into the end zone. A career night for Justin Forsett, capped off by his 2nd touchdown.
Credit Forsett, but look at Joe Flacco. He just pointed at Gary Kubiak, knowing that he just made an excellent audible. Overloaded defenses to the right. Watch Flacco can this play. They're going to run it away from the overload. You see Vaccaro down on the right side, and Joe Flacco does an excellent job seeing the look that best gives Forsett a chance to do what he's done all night. Punish the Saints. 182 yards, 2 touchdowns. Who is Justin Forsett?
He's the man right now.
He is the man
for the Ravens in that backfield. And the Baltimore Ravens in New Orleans up double digits. Forsett has had 8 runs of 10 yards or more tonight. And Joe Flacco, as you said, John, some stats, but also what he was able to do there at the line of scrimmage. part of the story for the Ravens.
Done it all night. Look at the offensive line step with their right foot. Good blocking on the play side, and Forsett takes it. They run it again to the right side, and Forsett presses it once again. Domination up front by the Ravens. And they ran the ball repeatedly to the right. Juszczyk, his fullback, did an excellent job, and Steve Smith at the point of attack. When you're a part of this zone stretch running game, whether you're a tight end, a tackle, a center guard, or a wide receiver, you must do your part because that play can go anywhere. Play side, backside, you name it. 182 yards for a young man that has waited a long time for his opportunity, Mike. You got to give him credit.
216 yards of rushing by Forsett and the rest of the Ravens, and Joe Flacco back in a building where he had Super Bowl success, but only about a third of the Ravens' current active roster were part of that Super Bowl championship. The memories and dusting off the moments 21 months ago, they were able to get rid of that in their preseason visit, and here for serious business tonight and able to take the 14-point lead. No return, take it back to the 20-yard line. And John, just think about the last couple of weeks of what we've seen. The Sunday night game with Indianapolis and New England. You think Brady. They run the ball effectively. You think of the Miami-Denver game yesterday. Peyton Manning at the controls. Run the ball for over 200 yards against the Dolphins. And hear what Flacco and the Ravens have done tonight. These quarterbacks who throw it so well, they're also so smart. They take advantage of what's given to them, like you just showed us.
Yes, they do. And they have balance here, too. Steve Smith has 98 yards receiving. Torrey Smith has 89 yards. This is a balanced Gary Kubiak offense. I like the Ravens and the direction they're headed. And you have to admit, they have a great field goal kicker,
yes,
a great punter. If they can keep this secondary together, make some improvements like Will Hill has made tonight, this is a dangerous football team.
Let's not forget where we were last week in Le'Veon Bell, Ben Roethlisberger. Yeah. Orchestrating that. So in this era of spread offenses and all this smoke and mirrors and tricks, the ability to run the ball still has a place in the National Football League. And we have seen that with some of the teams trying to separate in the AFC over the last 9 nights. Brees got to make a lot happen here. Got to get down the field, score, and recover an onside kick out of bounds with 2:44 remaining.
But you know, you look out there, there's Danny Gore at left corner. He was just cut by the Lions. Darian Stewart, 24, came from the Rams. Will Hill, the ex-New York Giant. And Anthony Levine was cut after training camp. Those are your Baltimore Ravens starters. You have to credit them. Certainly Dean Pease and this defensive coaching staff. And how about the job John Harbaugh has done with all the new Ravens? There's only a handful of these guys that were part of that Super Bowl championship team, Mike. This is a totally remodeled Raven football team.
2 deep safeties so nothing goes long. So Brees going to try to take advantage underneath. It's Graham around midfield. He can't get out of bounds. Clock turns with 2.5 and only 1 timeout remaining, plus the 2-minute warning. That one gets him a first down and a new set of downs. It's been a microcosm of their season. Nearly 500 yards of offense, yet the Saints couldn't punch it in the red zone. They now have their backs to the wall. Out of the backfield, Thomas. He'll gain 6. And the Saints won't get another playoff before the 2-minute warning. Baltimore by 14. New Orleans trying to stay alive in this one.
At the 2-minute warning here in New Orleans, good time to say hi, folks. I'm Steve Levy, once again in for Stuart Scott. Coming up, the GMC postgame report. I'll be joined by Ray Lewis, Steve Young, Trent Dilfer will break down the game, highlights, analysis, and reaction. Rex Ryan comments on his own future after the Jets were blitzed by the Bills in Detroit. And in honor of the Giants receiver, Odell Beckham Jr., the local hero from the New Orleans area, in honor of his catch, we'll give you the top 10 catches of the NFL season to this point. We'll see you on SportsCenter immediately following the game. Mike and John, back to you guys.
All right, Steve, here is Brees inside the 2-minute warning. Sideline fire is incomplete. Trying to get it to Nick Toon. That was some catch Odell Beckham Jr. made for the Giants. Their losing effort yesterday. And Sean Payton's team is just a couple of moments away from 4-7, yet sharing the division lead with Atlanta with 5 games left. 3rd and 5. Some time here for Brees. It's in the middle of the field, so the completion to Thomas will keep the clock moving with 1:44 to go.
This is new territory for Sean Payton and Drew Brees. But still, as you said earlier, at the end of tonight, hard to believe they're going to be tied for first 11 games into the season and 3 under 500.
Suggs. Off the edge it is. Suggs as a flag down as that pass is incomplete.
Teron Armstead is struggling with Terrell Suggs.
Illegal shift. 2 men moved prior to the snap, did not reset. 5-yard penalty, repeat first down.
The Saints have Pittsburgh next, then they'll have one of their 3 division games left against Carolina, but it could be swept in a 3-game homestand for the second time in team history. Certainly much tougher days for the Saints back in 67 and 1997. So this would be time number 3. 3-game homestand, and they go 0 for 3. Brees firing to Tune. Still time left, 1:17, and out of bounds. Inside the 30 at the 28-yard line.
My old team, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, are still alive in the South, Mike.
2 wins, 2 out.
2 wins and 5 games left. You never know.
Of course, the Saints saw a 7-win team win a division in Seattle. They had to go out to Seattle, and they lost that playoff game. Brees complete to Graham to the 22-yard line. Again, Baltimore's just keeping everything underneath and in the middle of the field. This is textbook defense up 14 with a running clock. Saints just got to hit one play to give them a chance. Brees looking for that play, going to force it that way. It's caught by Tune, who tried to get the extra yards instead of getting out of bounds. He's at the 3 and the clock runs. And Brees going to take a timeout here. Going to get the attention of the official. He gets the timeout now with 42 on the clock.
Nice route by
Tune. Time.
Excuse me, Mike. Nice route by Tune and great pass protection. Tune's got to get out of bounds. Save that timeout. I'm sure Sean Payton is thinking touchdown, onside kick. No timeouts left for New Orleans.
He did get the 2 seconds back on the clock that he was asking for. So now 44 seconds remain.
And once again, we expect to see Jimmy Graham and probably Will Hill in another confrontation here inside the 5-yard line. So far, Hill has come up victorious several times.
523 yards, as you saw there, and a 14-point deficit. Very rare. Those red zone struggles really tell the tale again here tonight.
Top of the screen, Mike. There they are again. Hill and Graham.
Brees looks that way, goes to Graham. This time he holds on and had the plane broken for a touchdown. And the Saints are still in it with 40 seconds remaining.
Well, the 5th time is a charm. Trips formation. They isolate Jimmy Graham one-on-one with Will Hill. Brees gives him a hand signal. This is rehearsed carefully before practice, after practice, and this 6'6" Jimmy Graham scores. It'll be an onside kick.
Waiting for confirmation on that score. You saw the look straight down the line when the catch was made. The plane was broken. And that is confirmed in replay. Now the onside kick after the extra point by Graham. And that'll decide if we have a lot of drama in the last 40 seconds. I mentioned what happens with the Saints going to Pittsburgh. We'll see them in Chicago in a couple of weeks. They close in the division. Falcons not only at 4-7, but with the Cardinals and the Packers, 2 of the top, if not the 2 top teams in the NFC, although Dallas and Philly have something to say about that. and then Pittsburgh and New Orleans, a brutal schedule. But as we have seen, who knows? Kansas City went to winless Oakland and lost on Thursday to start this week in the NFL, so no clue what will happen through these final 5, but we do have a pretty solid idea. We have an onside kick coming, and Morstead does the kickoffs for the Saints, but in the past when Garrett Hartley was their place kicker, he would do the onside kicks, and Shane Graham has now taken that role here as opposed to the taller Morstead.
6 Saints at the bottom of the screen, 4 Saints at the top. Graham will decide whether to kick it to the overload 6-man side, the 4-man side, and he might just middle dribble it to himself.
15% is about the average for recoveries on onside kicks. Got a lot of big bodies up there at the top of the screen. Here's the bounce. It is brought down. A great job by Kamar Aiken to go up, go get it, and get the Ravens a win. The second-year man out of Central Florida barely touched the ball all night. Gets the one that mattered most.
You aren't kidding. He went up and got it. It's like an NBA rebound, Mike. He got that ball at its highest point. Watch him bring it back to his body and secure it. That's good coaching. They've practiced that play several times. You saw the Saints shift to try to fool them. And John Harbaugh, the ex-special teams coach of the Philadelphia Eagles, is walking out of here victorious, and that's an impressive win coming off the bye, and John Harbaugh has done that extremely well.
And John, the lead in the NFC South belongs to 2 teams that are 4-7. That's the first time in NFL history that a division leader has been 3 games below 500. But all credit to the Ravens, who sweep the South, take advantage of this poor division as those 2 Super Bowl MVP quarterbacks exchange a greeting. Steve Smith might be walking out of here for the final time in his career in a stadium where he has had great success over the years. The Ravens in that big tie for second place with Pittsburgh and Cleveland at 7-4, a half game behind Cincinnati in that terrific AFC North. Our final score in New Orleans tonight, Baltimore 34, New Orleans 27. The GMC postgame on SportsCenter is seconds away with John Gruden, Lisa Salters, Jay Rothman, Chip Dean, and our great group in the truck, Mike Tirico. Good night from the Dome.